We live in a hyper-connected world where social media has transformed the way we communicate, work, and even think. What began as a means to bring people closer has become a space where a silent battle is fought for our attention, our emotions, and ultimately our minds. With every click, every like, and every share, we are handing over fragments of ourselves to a system designed to influence our decisions in ways we can't even begin to understand. In this digital environment, manipulation is a powerful currency. From algorithms that know us better than we know ourselves to covert tactics that exploit our insecurities, social media has become fertile ground for those who seek to control what we think, feel, and do. The line between persuasion and manipulation has become dangerously blurred, and the more time we spend connected, the harder it becomes to distinguish truth from fiction. Next, I will tell you a story to better explain my point. Sophia swiped her finger across the screen, moving from one post to another in an endless cycle. It was her nightly ritual, a time when she would catch up with the world while scrolling through her favorite social media platforms: Instagram, Twitter, and recently, TikTok. It seemed like everyone was living life to the fullest. From photos of her friends on exotic beaches to influencers' clothing and makeup recommendations, the parade of perfect images never ended. Every once in a while, Sophia felt a slight discomfort, a kind of pressure in her chest that she couldn't fully identify. At first, she thought it was just fatigue after a long day. But as she kept scrolling, the feeling of unease grew. Maybe it was the pressure of not feeling good enough, or perhaps the fact that other successes highlighted her own insecurities like neon lights. But unknowingly, something kept her tethered to the screen. What else will be in the feed? Who posted what today? She wondered as she looked at the clock, now deep into the night. It seemed like every new post gave her a brief rush of satisfaction, like a promise that maybe the next image would show her something that would really make her feel better. A few minutes passed, and she decided to leave her phone on the nightstand, though she couldn't shake the feeling of dissatisfaction. She pulled the covers up, trying to fall asleep, and as she closed her eyes, she wondered if she was the one failing in life, or if maybe social media was just showing her one side of reality. The next morning, Sophia grabbed her phone before getting out of bed and was surprised to see an ad for the sneakers she had talked about with her friend Anna the afternoon before. She clearly remembered not having searched for them online. She had only discussed them in a face-to-face conversation. How strange, she thought. Without giving it much importance, she continued checking her feed, though now with a strange feeling of discomfort. As she scrolled, she noticed the ads seemed to get more and more specific. Products related to her routine, makeup recommendations, motivational videos about improving your life, and even tips for combating anxiety. Somehow, everything seemed carefully tailored to her, as if someone knew her better than she knew herself. That afternoon, Sophia brought it up again with Anna, who let out a small laugh. Didn't you know? Social media does that on purpose. They listen to you, gather information from every click, and then show you what they think will keep you hooked. Sophia shuddered at that. So, the ads and posts are made to keep me watching more and more, she asked, somewhat incredulous. Anna nodded. Exactly. The algorithms try to keep us connected for as long as possible. The more time you spend on social media, the more money the platforms make. Although this wasn't the first time Sophia had heard something like this, this time the words resonated with her differently. Suddenly, she couldn't help but wonder if she was really controlling her time on social media, or if it was the screen controlling her. That night, Anna's words kept echoing in Sophia's head. She decided to go for a walk to clear her mind, and without realizing it, she found herself writing a message to her cousin Lucas, someone who always had a critical view of technology. She knew he could help her understand what was happening to her. They met at a cafe, and after catching up, Sophia couldn't wait any longer. Lucas, did you know that social media is designed to manipulate us? Lucas smiled, not surprised. Of course, Sophia. It's something that isn't talked about much, but it's there. The algorithms are made to make you stay longer. They study every like, every comment, and every post you consume. From there, they create a profile of your interests and show you what they know will grab your attention. They make us think we're in control, but in reality, they're the ones pulling the strings. Sophia frowned, trying to digest that information. Lucas continued, think about how your feed is organized. It's a mix of what interests you, but also of what might provoke a strong reaction. They know that polarizing topics like politics or certain opinions generate more interaction. So, every time you see a post that makes you feel uncomfortable, whether from friends or the news, it's part of the game. It was overwhelming. She remembered how she had spent entire nights comparing herself to photos of others. With that mixture of admiration and envy, everything made sense now. Those feelings, that desire to have a more perfect life, were part of a calculated strategy to keep her there, scrolling and consuming content. So, what should I do? Should I quit social media? She asked, feeling trapped. Lucas shook his head. Not necessarily. You just have to be more aware. Think about everything you consume. Why are they showing it to you? What do they want you to feel or do after seeing it? The key is to be critical and not let social media dictate how you feel. For the first time in a long while, Sophia felt a spark of clarity. It was like she had just found a key piece of a puzzle she had been trying to solve unsuccessfully. That night, after the conversation with Lucas, Sophia lay in her bed and began mentally reviewing the times when social media had influenced how she felt. She remembered those mornings when she had woken up full of energy, only to end up discouraged after seeing posts of friends traveling or achieving goals that seemed unattainable to her. Or those nights when she told herself she would only watch a couple of videos and ended up spending hours without knowing where the time had gone. Now, she understood that those moments of comparison, anxiety, and even sadness had not been random. The algorithms knew her weaknesses well and preferred to show her content that, without her realizing it, would hook her, even if it made her feel bad. The next morning, while having breakfast, she decided to do an experiment. She would open Instagram and see how she felt after 5 minutes. At first, She was tempted to scroll like always, but soon she began paying attention. Why was the first post a picture of an influencer on a paradise beach? Why, after a few swipes, did a new diet ad appear? She realized that everything was carefully designed to capture her attention, first with envy, then with insecurity. Sophia felt a mix of anger and frustration. Social media, which at first seemed like a form of entertainment and connection, now seemed like traps playing with her self-esteem. And while she couldn't deny that there were also good things on them, it was becoming clearer to her the impact they had on her well-being. She decided it was enough. She couldn't keep letting social media dictate her emotions. It was time to regain control and prioritize her mental health. But how would she do it? She still didn't have all the answers, but the clarity of knowing something needed to change was an important first step. With this new determination, Sophia felt ready to make decisions and seek strategies to protect herself. She knew the path wouldn't be easy, but she was clear that it was the only way to feel at peace with herself again. With her resolution in mind, Sophia decided to implement some changes. The first thing she did was limit her time on social media. She adjusted the settings on her phone to send her an alert after 20 minutes on each platform. At first, the notification felt like an interruption, but over time she began to appreciate the reminder to disconnect. Next, she disabled the notifications. She wanted to avoid that constant urge to check her phone every time it beeped or vibrated. By turning off the alerts, she noticed feeling less anxious and, naturally, forgetting to check her social media every 5 minutes. She also became more selective about the accounts she followed. Instead of only following people who showcase an apparently perfect life, she started to follow educational accounts, profiles of artists, and people who shared positive or inspiring content, but in a realistic way. By diversifying her sources of information, Sophia felt she was starting to regain some balance. Finally, she practiced Lucas's advice of analyzing each post and asking herself, why am I seeing this? What do they want me to feel or do? Over time, she became more critical and less susceptible to the emotions the content sought to provoke. The process wasn't immediate. In fact, at first, she felt strange without the constant notifications and with less screen time. However, little by little, she noticed that she felt calmer, with more time to do things she truly enjoyed, and with a more realistic perspective on her life. Each small step made her feel like she was regaining control. After several weeks, Sophia noticed a transformation in her life. She no longer felt tied to the need to validate her emotions through social media. She had regained control over her time and well-being. Her self-esteem no longer depended on likes or constant comparison. Now, when she entered her social media, she did so consciously, and if any content made her doubt herself, she would analyze it instead of being swayed by the initial impact. One day, while talking with a group of friends, she noticed that several of them mentioned feeling stressed or anxious after seeing certain content on their social media. Sophia decided to share her experience, telling them about the changes she had made and how she had learned to protect her mind from digital manipulation. She explained how easy it was to fall into the traps of algorithms and how, with a bit of awareness and discipline, they could improve their relationship with social media. The conversation was liberating, and some of her friends even decided to follow her lead. For Sophia, that moment was significant. Not only had she learned to protect herself, but now she had the opportunity to help others. As she walked back home, she felt a peace she hadn't experienced in a long time. She knew that the social media would continue trying to capture her attention, but now she was certain that true freedom lay in how she chose to react to it. With each step she took, Sophia felt stronger, more confident, and above all, in control of her own life. Over the months, Sophia's relationship with social media transformed into a tool rather than a trap. She was now the one who decided how and when to use it, without falling into manipulation or the comparison cycle. Social media had stopped being a reflection of insecurities and had become a space for inspiration and growth. Since then, Sophia made it a habit to share advice so others could learn to protect themselves as well. What had once been a source of anxiety had now become an opportunity to empower those around her. Digital manipulation is a powerful and omnipresent force that affects our minds, decisions, and daily lives. However, Sophia's story also shows us that, although the challenges are great, we are not defenseless. Awareness, self-knowledge, and the ability to question what surrounds us are our most powerful weapons against this manipulation. Throughout her journey, Sophia learned that it's not just about avoiding manipulation tactics, but about creating a resilient mindset and a conscious relationship with the digital world. Mental freedom doesn't come by chance. It's built day by setting clear boundaries, seeking objective information, and above all, trusting in our ability to make informed decisions. Sophia's story is not just hers, it's ours as well. Living in the digital age requires constant vigilance, but it also offers us the opportunity to be masters of our own minds. In the end, true liberation lies not in allowing external influences to control our perception of the world, but in forging a path that is truly our own.